Hey, what's going on everyone? Dennis here, EDC for Fun. Thanks for checking out the video. Today we're talking about front flippers. So I carried this Doris today. This is a really fun, really functional knife that has a front flipper, obviously has a hole deployment as well, which works really nicely. But the front flipper on this guy is why I bought it. And without it, I probably would not have been interested in this knife because there is an element of folding knives that really brings me joy, and that is fidgeting. So I like the thumb roll, I like the spidey flick, and I have grown to really enjoy the knuck roll, which you can do with a front flipper. Obviously, you can do the thumb flick like that, but the knuck roll is really like my jam. When I'm sitting there fidgeting, it's just super, super satisfying. Just another level of, oops, missed that one, dexterity that you can get, and it's just super fun. Now, the reality is that a front flipper is pretty gimmicky. I'm going to just be honest. Before I had any front flippers, I thought they were stupid. I thought they were gimmicky, and I still think they're gimmicky, and they might be a little bit stupid, but they are super, super fun, like this CGRB Echo. And the thing about it is, why I think they're stupid or gimmicky or whatever is because you don't need it on a knife, right? A knife is a cutting tool first and foremost. So when you go to deploy your knife, as fun as it is to do this, okay, you can just as easily thumb roll it out, or if you got a slip joint, you got the two-hander, or if you're a fixed blade guy, it's already deployed. You just take it out of your sheath and go to town. So it's not really a necessary function of a knife, but it is super fun. Like with this Kubi Royal, this guy has got a really, really great action for front flipping. And you can see it's just got this little nub that's got, oops, focus here. It's got, come on, baby. There we go. Just a tiny little bit of jimping up there, which gives you all the traction you need to just flip that thing over. And it just is super, super satisfying. The sound, the feel, everything about that is just awesome. Now, as fun as front flippers are, I've got a couple knives that are front flipper only, like this O knife Borzage. And in EDC, when I'm, carrying this every day, I like having the front flipper. This one has this little nail nick here too as well. But I really wish I had another form of deployment. So the front flipper for me is not the end all be all. This is a O knife Parrot here. This guy's got kind of a top flipper. You can see it's got excellent jimping going all the way around, and it is super, super fun to do. But this is another one that does not have a secondary form of deployment. It is only the front flipper. And I really wish it had another one. I love doing this. It's super fun, like I said, but it's not the primary way that I open a knife when I'm actually carrying it and I'm going to cut something. Your mileage may vary, but I've had a ton of front flippers. Obviously, I've never experienced every single one, but I've had a bunch. And these are just the ones that I have right now. I've had others. I've sold them, traded them, given them away. And so I definitely have had a lot of experience with them. And everyone that I've had that is front flipper only, I've always wished that it had another form of deployment, like this Kaiser Hiccup. You can see it's got, an excellent opening hole as a secondary form of deployment. The front flipper on this one, by the way, is perfect. This is how every front flipper should be. Just a little curve up there with some precision jimping, not too rough, but also not too smooth. That goes all the way around the curve. You don't need like a giant, pokey mohawk looking thing like on the CGRB Echo. Just a little nub like that just to get your thumb on it or your index finger, and bam, that thing just flips over. Similarly, you've got the Devo Buzz here, and this is again, it's kind of more of a top flipper. Oops. But I almost never use my thumb actually on that one. I almost always knuck roll this guy. Anyway, the reason I had this one here was because just to look at the shape and the style of the front flipper, just a subtle curve and some jimping that works really well, and that's all you need. So, interestingly enough, I have two knives on here that are not actually front flippers, but they can be front flipped. So this is the Devo Knives Growler. Man, look at that carbon fiber weave, by the way. It's so sick. This is an awesome knife. And yeah, it's got a thumb hole for deployment, but check it. You can also thumb flick this guy, which is, I'm sorry, not thumb flick, front flip this guy. Oops, I missed that one. There we go. Which is just really cool. Now, if it was a front flipper only, obviously this was never intended to be a front flipper, but let's say it did have, you know, a nice curve going over with jimping that goes all the way around, but no deployment hole. Sure, it would be fun, but I would be missing that secondary form of deployment. Similarly, the Shaman, okay? This guy's got the Spidey hole, compression lock combo. This thing is like a fidgeter's dream, and you can front flip it, which is sick. But if it was, oops, if it was front flipper only, I wouldn't really care for it as much. As a cutting tool, that's a different story, okay? As a cutting tool, the blade shape, geometry, steel, ergos, all that stuff for cutting, that goes without saying. But as a knife that I, just want to EDC for a really nice blend of function and fidget factor, if it's just a front flipper only, like this guy, or like this guy, as much as I like those, I'm kind of at a loss. So with that being said, I'm going to end it with what I think is the ultimate version of a fidgety knife. And this is the EMPC, EMP EDC, can't speak, Nimble X, and it's got a front flipper, a back flipper, and a hole for deployment. The front flipper on this guy works excellent. The back flipper, excellent. The thumb hole, or, I just did a reverse flick there. But all the deployments work very, very well. And it's just a great knife overall. The shape, the ergos, the materials, the build quality, everything on this is money. But because it has those extra forms of deployment and all of them are done really well, this guy's really hard not to put in my pocket every single day. This is one of those knives that when I look at it, when I handle it especially, it's going in my pocket. I can't not carry this guy because it just works so well and it's super fun. So even if I don't have anything to cut, I can just sit here and fidget with this guy, and it's just super, super satisfying, very enjoyable experience. There are a few others that are coming out. Golden Design has something similar to this, except it's a button lock. So that looks pretty interesting. And what you're going to see is that you'll probably see more companies start doing multiple deployments, and specifically having all three, whether it's a hole or a stud, and a front flipper and a back flipper. Because if you can do it, why not? If that's what you're going for, right? If you want that fidget factor, why not have all the options? And as an option, the front flipper is just super fun. It's different. It's, it's satisfying. And when done really well, like, the nimble here, or the hiccup, or even going back to what I carried today, the Cubidoris, it's just just adds another level of experience to your EDC knife that you can't get with just a standard thumb stud or whatever. So all that being said, guys, that's my little front flipper kind of rant or thoughts about it. So I appreciate you stopping by and checking out the video. Leave me a like and a comment, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great day. Peace.